What up, YouTube, and welcome to a late night edition of Driving with Kevin here with your humble host, Kevin. So I ended up taking a few rides. Wasn't really planning on it tonight, but got home from a long weekend in Minnesota. Wanted to shoot a quick video, just a couple things on my mind. First, let's do the standard weekend recap video. So Saturday I live streamed from my car. I drove down to Mankato from where I was, Mankato, Minnesota, home of Minnesota State University, which is where I went to college. Found out I can only do Lyft, which upset me because I know that from my personal experience I make way more on Uber than on Lyft. So being limited to just Lyft kind of sucked. And I only made $27 in I think I gave 4 rides, which covered the gas that I put into my car to get down there. So that was a little discouraging. So I was really upset about the fact that I only made $27. So Sunday afternoon we were sitting around not doing anything, and knowing that it was a holiday weekend, I thought, hey, I'm gonna go try again. So I drove down to Mankato, spent about 2 hours online, and I ended up taking only 2 trips. And I actually live streamed it, but I was so frustrated by the lack of rides that I turned the live stream off and I discarded the video, because I live streamed for a little bit over an hour and a half, and in that hour and a half span that I live streamed, I had 0 rides. So I didn't really feel like I wanted to record it or wanted to post it on my channel because there was nothing there. You know, it was really boring. I got, there was nothing going on. So I had no rides for about an hour and 45 minutes, and then I got 2 back to back. So but wasn't worth it to go back and drive on Sunday. I thought it would be because of the holiday weekend. Really kind of left me to realize that I either should have stayed out Saturday night and drove in bar clothes, or gone out Sunday night instead of Sunday during the day. So, but it is what it is. I can't go back and undo it now. That's the decision that I made. So we drove back today. An adventure getting back. It was, we were coming down I-35, got to about Mason City, and there was, obviously with all the heat and everything else, the chance for storms was pretty high. So driving down 35, get to Mason City, and all kinds of storms, man. I swear to God, I felt like we were in the middle of a tornado. It was crazy. We couldn't see anything. It was lightning. It was hail. It was debris and dirt flying across the road. Like, it was crazy. I had to stop under underpasses twice because of the rain and the hail and the wind. We were sitting under an underpass in the car, and I felt like the car was going to take off the ground. It was that windy. So that was crazy. I've never been in a storm like that before in my life. So anyway, got home and I turned on the app tonight. Not really planning on driving, but I noticed that there were no drivers on. So I thought, hey, let's give this the old college try real quick. Turns out we went out of town, and one of us accidentally turned the heat up instead of down. So we got back and our thermostat read 90, but I think it only read 90 because that's as high as it goes. I am of the firm belief that it was hotter than 90 in that house. So we went out to dinner real quick because it was hot in the house, and got back and it was still hot, but it had dropped like 6 or 7 degrees. So I decided to go out. I wanted to go out and I had to switch all the stuff out of her car to my car. And so I turned the app on, and wouldn't you know it, I got a Uber request right away. And picked up at the casino, and it was a 2-stopper. So the person that called the Uber, we dropped off first, and then she wanted to know what to do. And in that situation, I just tell people, I'll leave the meter running, I'll change the destination, and then you'll get a notification when I end the trip, and you guys can plan accordingly. So I drop off the first group, and then the second group was just one guy. One guy can be a group. So I took him where he was going. He's originally from Dubuque, but currently lives in Dallas. I brought him where he needed to go. He's staying with his parents. Well, he's in town. Excuse me, sorry. So I brought him where he needed to go. He gave me a $20 bill as a tip. So that was awesome. And the woman who called it gave me $8 on the app, which I'm assuming is the maximum that would let her tip. So it was $15 after her tip plus the $20 cash she gave me. $35 on the first trip tonight was more than I made driving in Mankato for 2 days. So I was pretty excited. And then I got a Lyft request right away, and that one was like $5 or $6. And then I had another ping for another pickup on Uber, and got out there to where it told me he was, and he didn't show. So I canceled the trip, and I requested them not to charge the driver. And then I go look at my earnings, and guess what? They charged the driver, or they charged the rider $5.50, or they just gave me a bonus for waiting for him, and then whatever. So yeah, so that's how that went. That was my day driving Lyft and Uber today. I'm gonna fill up real quick. I'll pause this and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. For whatever reason, I didn't read my gas buddy card. I'm not really sure why. Rejected it. Told me to please see the cashier, but the gas station's closed, so I had to use my regular ATM card. That sucked. So what I really wanted to talk about in this video is there's a lot of videos and negative press out there about Uber and Lyft and their new surge system. So I've always considered myself a glass half full type of person. I look at the situation in the positive instead of in the negative. So I've watched a few different videos about the new surge pricing, and let me just start by saying it's not in my market yet. So I have no firsthand personal experience with the new Uber and Lyft surge. Okay, I have no firsthand experience because it's not in my market yet. But let me tell you this, okay? I don't think it's nearly as bad as it's been made out to be. So the way the current model works is you have the on surge you have the multiplier, and on Lyft you have the percentage. And the way it works currently is if you go and you sit in the center of the surge, if you want that multiplier that you're sitting in, you have to get a ride that's in that same multiplier. And that's obviously extremely unpredictable, and you can't help that. So I've noticed a lot of times I will enter the surge area and it completely disappears, or I will enter the surge area and then I will get a ride that's outside the surge area and thus is not a surge fare. And that is really frustrating. And so Uber wanted to address this. Lyft wanted to address it as well. I'll talk about Lyft's model in a second, but Uber wanted to address this. So what Uber decided to do is Uber decided to create what drivers have termed upfront surge pricing. I don't know if that's a technical term. I don't really know what the technical jargon is for it. I don't know what Uber's actually calling it. I think it was calling it the new surge, whatever. So what this does is, based on what I've seen, again, this isn't in the market yet, I'm giving thoughts and opinions on something that I have not personally experienced. So take that with a grain of salt. But my understanding is with the new surge, what you will see on the map is instead of seeing 1.5 times, 1.6 times, 1.7 times, or 4.7, 4.6, whatever, you're going to see $1. Okay, so you'll see like a $3, and then you'll see a darker area that might be $6, and then an even darker area that might be $12. Okay, so obviously the way this is designed is the drivers, they go and they sit in the surge area, and obviously everyone is going to go right away immediately to the highest surge area. I mean, any driver would. So you go and you sit in the highest surge area. That basically what that does is it guarantees that next ride that you get is that surge. So if you're sitting, if the highest surge on the map is $12, you're sitting right in the middle of $12 surge. Okay, what that means is that next ride that you get, you're getting $12 additional for that ride. Okay, all the examples I see show 12. I think it's just an example. I don't think that's going to be the standard every time. Like my market, I think it's probably like 1, 2, and 3, or 2, 4, and 6. But in any regard, so that you will get that surge as long as certain conditions are met. My understanding is you have to accept the ride. Okay, in addition to accepting the ride, you have to complete the ride in full. And you cannot go offline before you accept a ride. So if you're sitting in the surge zone and you go offline and then you go back online and get a surge request, you will not get paid that surge. That's my understanding of the way this is designed. Okay? So, and you get that surge regardless of where that request comes from. So if that request comes from someplace 2 miles outside the surge area, you're still going to get that surge fare because you were sitting in the surge zone waiting for that surge, waiting for a ride, and that's better. I think that greatly improves surge. Okay, now the part that the drivers have a hard time with. Okay, so let me back up for a second. Now let me go back to Lyft. Lyft is the same way right now, okay? So you see a pink area that shows a certain percentage, okay? So that's an additional percentage that you get on top of the fare, okay? And then you see like a darker purple spot, or darker pink spot, almost purple, is for a higher fare, or a higher percentage. So they're doing the same thing. They're going to have like a purple area and a pink area. And the purple area will be the lower amount, the pink area will be the higher amount. And theirs will work the same way as Uber's new surge, in the fact that if you're sitting in that higher area, you will get that on your next run. But, okay, this is where it gets tricky, because if you have both Uber and Lyft on, you will not get that surge if you go offline on Lyft. Or you will not get that prime time. So it gets a little tricky in that regard. But moving ahead, what I was going to say before I went back and talked about Lyft, where the drivers are having a hard time, I get it. It makes sense to me. Drivers are upset because the new surge doesn't take into effect long trips. So if you take, like in my market, okay, we don't get many long trips because we're a small market. So like our longest trip is probably 10 minutes, and that's not that long. So on a 2-time surge, that would be like $10 extra. What a lot of the drivers in the larger markets are having a hard time with is the fact that that surge price is locked in, and it doesn't take into account distance and time. It's just that's a straight rate. That's what you get. And a lot of drivers have a hard time with that because obviously they want to maximize what they make. Let me come back to you. Hold on. All right. So, sorry about that. Neighbor was out front. I just wanted to talk a little bit. So, what I was saying was a lot of the drivers are mad because it doesn't really take into account a long trip. And in my market, long trips aren't a big deal. So that's kind of why I'm looking at this as a glass half full type of thing, because it's not really going to affect me in my market. So again, hasn't hit my market yet. As with everything else, they're testing it and getting all the bugs out of it. They've been testing it. They announced this like probably a year ago. And it was the same gloom and doom videos a year ago as there is today. So, I don't think it's going to be as big of a deal as everyone's making it out to be. But that's my 2 cents. I just kind of wanted to share my thoughts on it. I wanted to let you guys kind of know where I stand. Feel free to leave comments below. We're up to 12 subscribers now. So thank you, and continue to share, continue to like, continue to interact with my videos. That way I know that what I'm making is content that you guys want to see. So still haven't got any feedback about what I haven't touched on that you guys want to see, things like that. Still looking for that. So if you have a couple minutes, leave a comment below, let me know. Otherwise, I'm just gonna keep kind of doing what I've been doing, and that's flying by the seat of my pants. So yeah. So am I gonna have a video this week? Possibly. I don't know. I'm not really sure what to do, because this video I just did was gonna kind of be my video this week. I might still do another one, but I don't know what to put in it. So leave me some ideas. And as far as the live stream goes, again, that's really up in the air at this point. I'm going down to Des Moines next weekend. I don't know if I will be making a live stream. I don't know if I'll be driving or not. That's really kind of all up in the air at this point. I'm meeting a friend. We're doing a brewery tour. So I may be the one using Uber as opposed to driving Uber. I'm not sure though. But that'll do it for today. Uber, Lyft on. Be safe out there. Like, subscribe, comment. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.